When you first sit down to play Elden Ring, the intro plays. Here is a clip from it.
Fear, the dead companion, the loathsome dung eater.
Run that back.
The loathsome dung eater.
The moment I saw this, I knew I had to meet that guy. He seemed so intellectual, so respectful, a fellow great mind like myself. I had spent hours playing this game and I could not find any evidence of the loathsome dung eater. There were no clues I could find that would lead me to his location. Then one day, something amazing happened. I returned to the hub area and a door had opened. Inside this room, I found him, the loathsome dung eater. I was ready to execute his will, whatever that may be.
Have you ever felt the curse with your whole being? The pox upon life itself? Apparently not. You are but a lamb, a stranger to defilement, ignorant of your own ignorance. You no longer interest me. Don't spoil my quietude.
He was not interested in me. He wanted nothing to do with me. Maidenless as I were, dungless as I were, the loathsome dung eater sat at the back of my mind over the next few hours of gameplay. I wondered how I could make him open up to me. Like, was there some Mass Effect companion questline where at the end of it you get to bang? In an iconic BioWare Fade to Black sex scene. Maybe I would find out if he actually eats dung. These mysteries played through my mind until one moment I found something, a key item on a corpse. Like all key items, I go and read their description in case they are important. This item was important, really important. Seedbed Curse. Curse grown on a body defiled by the dung eater. Finally, I had found the item required to start the Bang Dung Eater questline. I immediately headed back to him. Well, I didn't actually. First I talked to some old boomer. Then I headed to him. He said he could smell the curse on me.
You have felt the curse. I can smell it on you.
Which was kind of insulting, but the things we do for the mythical Bang Dung Eater questline. He asked me to unshackle his corporeal flesh.
Go and unshackle my corporeal flesh.
Absolutely, sir. I will unshackle your corporeal flesh. I can do that. I am your man. He mentioned that his corporeal flesh was trapped in a jail. A sewer jail, to be more specific. That sounds disgusting, but he is the dung eater, and dung is poo. And poo is disgusting. Man, I hate poo. Next I scoured Lanedale for some kind of sewer entrance because I assumed the sewer jail would be in a sewer. There are actually quite a few sewers in Lanedale and they don't really lead to any kind of jail. However, I did eventually find the sewer that contained the famed sewer jail. It was down a well, which was kind of weird because I would assume that a well would not be connected to a sewer because people would use it for drinking water, unless maybe it was the dung eater's well because he drinks shit. That's some heavy tragic lore. Prepare to cry. This sewer led to the Subterranean Shunning grounds, which I assumed was the sewer jail. No way would From Software put sewer jail in that epic title card font for a location. They always have to pick something a bit more esoteric or verbose. This title card was an awful foreboding omen because it meant that I wasn't going to find his cell easily. I would have to go on a sewer quest because once you arrive at a location in a From Software game, you are going to be in there for quite a while. Let's just say that this zone makes you wonder if all of this is worth it for the mythical Bang Dung Eater cutscene. You quite quickly come to this big open tunnel where these big mummers like father like son looking ass fellas reside. They suck. They have a lot of health and deal an amount of damage. I would just run past them, but they also have this ranged madness flame attack. There are a lot of ladders in this zone, and there are quite a few big mummers like father like sons near them, which stops you from just running past. They can also climb ladders, which looks cracked. This zone is kind of like an older Dark Souls zone, with heaps of interconnected shortcuts and so on. This big ass tunnel has like 4 different paths once you unlock all the doors. However, for now, you can only drop down through this grate. This is where the hell begins.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Not only can the big mamas like father like son follow you down here, there are heaps of rats and poison plants and so on. Now, it's interesting because here is the first junction of this zone. I want you to remember this and sear it into your brain. I can keep going forward and to the left, or I can choose to go down this small, dingy, creepy pipe. Remember this, it will be relevant later on in the video. I chose to go down the small, dingy, creepy pipe because I hoped it would make it difficult for all the things that were chasing me. Now, there are these massive snail slug things in here. Ever since I read Uzumaki, I have been deathly afraid of snails. They are very terrifying. I didn't see this hole and one of them fell from the roof and pushed me into it. How disgusting. This is why this zone is particularly hellish. There are quite a few holes like this. Holes are great fun. I spend the next 200 hours running aimlessly around some of these tunnels, into some kind of disgusting cell, back into the tunnels, past slug things, into a giant death pit, where I got capped by a real OG hoodlum, back to the death pit to collect my $5 that I dropped, until eventually I found this ladder and finally found the first shortcut. I went back to explore some more sewer tunnels and ancient ruins. Then I came to this room. This room is iconic. If you are a sewer guy, you know this room. You have to walk past the big mother and climb the ladder, but the big mother can very easily knock you off while climbing. So you have to bait it into doing the long flame breath attack, which gives you just enough time to climb up. Of course, you could just fight it normally, but that is boring. If I wanted to play a fighting game, I'd play Animal Crossing. This room probably doesn't sound so bad after all that, but the thing is, you have to return to it as you progress, and maybe if you get capped, which you will. You then see below you some Mario looking pipes and unlock yet another shortcut. At this point, I was beginning to worry. I had not found the Dung Eater's cell yet. Was he okay? Did a big mother cap him? I had to apply myself harder. I had to find him soon. He could be in danger. I quickly proceed through this Mario room and loop back to the foreboding room from earlier. I get to open a shortcut back down to that hell. It was at this point I noticed a pipe. I assumed that this pipe would connect to some of the others in the Mario area and that it would probably just be a relatively short walk to a cool item. I could not have been more wrong. The true subterranean shunning grounds starts here. These damn pipes are so confusing. I legitimately got lost looking for the Dung Eater and had to consult the locals for directions. These pipes loop back on themselves at multiple points. They have shortcuts that you can open within them. They exit to multiple points in the map. And the best part is that they also have holes. Some of these holes will straight up banish you to the start of the zone. You'll have to run all the way back through that foreboding room, doing all of the luring trickery and still having the big mother follow you up the ladder. It was all worth it though, right? I would meet the Dung Eater if I just got through these pipes. Surely, the mythical Bang Dung Eater cutscene was waiting behind this. Well, eventually, after 500 hours, I finally found my way to this elevator. This looked like a prison elevator. I had found the Dung Eater. I would ride this down to his prison cell. It was a rather grand area, the Forsaken Depths. This was a fitting place to imprison such a mighty man, to imprison the loathsome Dung Eater. I couldn't help but wonder if this room is where the Dung Eater Bang cutscene would take place. I headed down to the stairs, through some catacombs, and into what appeared to be a church. I had been jumped by a hooligan. Rather than finding a Dung Eater, I was about to get banged by an evil Dark Lord of Blood. Him and his stupid ass pitchfork. After all of that tunnel tomfoolery, it turns out the real Bang cutscene was mine. I still don't know what this boss is even supposed to be. You fight the real version of him later on in some secret zone. I assume that this is like some blood fart projection of him or something. Maybe he might have been jailed down here in the sewer jail, going by the shackle item you can use on him. Now that's what I call the mythical Moog Bang cutscene. I was confused, led astray. After all my hard work, how have I still not found the loathsome Dung Eater's corporeal form? How could I unshackle him? At the back of my mind, over the last 700 hours of gameplay, I had intended on checking out that other route. You remember, right? From the very start of the zone, I went into the pipe instead of going forward and to the left. I thought I might as well go check that out now for something to do. So I did. There was a ladder. I climbed it. I found his cell at the top. That was literally all I had to do this whole time. I unlocked the door. He was just slamming his head against the wall like that fella in Dead Space. I was terrified. This wasn't the Dung Eater I had come to know and love. He wasn't loathsome, he was depressed. I decided to help him. I told him to leave his jail. He then started talking about killing again and defiling more corpses.
I will kill again and defile each corpse with care.
I got flashbacks to that guy from Dark Souls 2 that kills random NPCs if you free him, to that fella from Demon Souls who also kills NPCs, to that thing from Bloodborne which also kills NPCs. I was worried. I did not want the depressed Dung Eater to kill the NPCs that I know and love, so he gave me no choice. Turns out, eating all that dung made him strong. He constantly screams at you. These attacks build up the Madness status effect in you, which, as you would expect, deals damage to you. On top of this, his weapon also deals bleed damage. This isn't a problem if you don't get hit though, but I got hit. And I got hit many times. Outside of his cell is a hand that you have to run past. Personally, I hate giant hands because they want to kill me in Elden Ring and in real life, so I ignore it. The problem is, if you do this, you will occasionally shoot purple beams into the arena. These are beams made of pure lean beams, if you will. So once you get hit with this purple drank, it commits tax evasion for you. You are both forced to sit there as it manipulates your account through the banking apps on your phone and evades taxes for you. That is why I got booked for tax evasion, okay? I didn't actually do it. The giant hand made me do it by using over-the-counter cough syrup. I assume this is the official law reason as to why the loathsome Dung Eater is in this cell to begin with. When he finally finishes his sentence, he is simply forced to evade taxes again. Now that's what I call tragic. Now finally, when I defeated him, I got his poo armor. I can now make my guy a Knight of the Dung, so I read the description to get that good dung lore. However, it turns out the armor isn't actually dung. Despite how it looks. Apparently it's some Vardy Vidya shit. In my enthusiasm, I was foolish. I fought Knight that I had to kill him. He requested that I unshackle his corporeal flesh. I just assumed that meant he wanted me to beat the crap out of his corporeal flesh until it died, because if I didn't, it sounded like he would kill some NPCs. Turns out, he literally wanted me to unshackle his corporeal flesh by just opening the door so he could leave. Why didn't he just ask me to open the door and assure me that he wouldn't kill NPCs? What a massive idiot. He deserved to get capped. I don't care if I missed out on the mythical Bang Dung Eater cutscene. That's what you get. Okay, actually, I kind of do care, because I wanted to see the mythical Bang Dung Eater cutscene. So what happens if you don't murder the guy who literally eats dung? Well, he asks you to fight him in some disgusting ass ditch when you get back to the hub area. I guess I didn't miss much here, because I basically already fought him in a disgusting ass dark dank ditch. You can then go back and talk to him some more.
Then it hit me that you are, in fact, me. And I'm the Dung Eater.
Yeah, that's some deep lore. The whole time you were the one who eats dung. I mean, who doesn't though? It's not much of a twist. He then asks you to defile his corporeal flesh, which is tied to a chair in the same cell. If you give him 5 Seedbed Curses, he will die. But this will also give you the Mending Rune of the Fell Curse. This item allows you to get the mythical Bang Dung Eater cutscene. Yeah, that's not a joke. You actually unlock a secret ending by doing all of this. Now of course, it's a fade to black. It doesn't show you banging the Dung Eater, but trust me, it happens. It's in the lore. You then become Elden Lord and usher in an age of dung. Seriously though, this is an actual ending. It's like the one for the character Fear, where you fight the dragon and get her rune. There are some small variations that you can get on the base Elden Lord ending. This is the dung variation, the Loathsome Dung Lord. Okay, so let's actually get on that Vardy Vidya shit. Does the Loathsome Dung Eater actually eat dung? From what I can tell, no. There is nothing in the game that points to this possibility. I'm not saying he is lying about eating dung in order to seem cooler and more attractive, but it certainly seems that way. What about his story? What does he even do? Well, from what I have gathered in my painstaking research, when he defiles a corpse, it stops it from resurrecting. His armor is said to resemble an omen with its horns cut off. Margit and Morgott are both omens. They are also literally the same guy. Also, I assume Moog is an omen because his clone is called Moog, the Omen. So I guess the Dung Eater is like a furry, but for omens. He seems to really identify with the omen culture. The Loathsome Dung Eater also wears a heavy sun-shaped medallion which represents the guidance he once saw and the ring to which it will one day lead. I assume that this is about how he is a tarnished that once saw the guidance of grace, and also about the dung world he wants to usher in as the Dung Lord. He kind of usurped this though. Here is what is painful about trying to read the From Software lore. There are no good wiki sites to collect it. Fextralife is raggedy. It's awful. It often has incorrect information and can be very inconsistent. This isn't just a symptom of being close to release, although there is something funny about it being close to release. It appears they have a hoax character called Bloodhunter Raz. I don't know if this was done by a random or if the owners of the site put it in to catch guide plagiarizers, but it's funny. They also put in a line about him helping with early bosses that people tend to have difficulty with, so it's funny imagining them looking for this non-existent guy to help them with the boss they are stuck on. All of the Fextralife wikis are scuffed for the Dark Souls games. Wikidot was way better, but it got completely blown out by the power of Fextralife's search engine optimization. That is the true Dark Souls lore. That is the true prepare to cry. You should subscribe to my channel. It would look great on your resume.